Earth's navy was a joke to the galaxy. Until the Colossus class arrived overhead, the galaxy had been laughing at Earth for as long as anyone could remember. Other civilizations called humans weak, slow, and unprepared. Earth's navy was small, barely more than a handful of patrol ships, while alien empires had fleets that could swallow entire planets in a single day. Captain John Carter had heard the jokes countless times. When he joined the Navy 10 years ago, he thought he would be part of something important. But most of the galaxy treated humans like children who had wandered too far from their playground. Now, standing on the bridge of the patrol cruiser Horizon, he looked out at the endless stars and wondered if Earth would ever be taken seriously. The Horizon was one of the newest human ships, but in the galactic scale, it was tiny. Its hull shone under the distant light of a nearby sun, and its weapons were modest, meant more for deterrence than real battle. Carter ran his hand over the railing, feeling the vibrations of the engines. He knew that if an alien fleet appeared, his ship would be destroyed in minutes. Still, he had a duty to protect human colonies scattered in the outer systems, and he would do it even if the odds were hopeless. Commander Lisa Brown entered the bridge, her tablet full of data. She had been monitoring signals from deep space, and her brow was tense. "Captain, I'm picking up unusual movement near the Row 7 cluster. Multiple ships, but they're moving too fast to be just trade vessels." Carter nodded, his jaw tight. "How many?" "Hard to say. Sensors are picking up energy signatures unlike anything in our database. I think it's a fleet, but it doesn't match anything we've cataloged." He rubbed his chin and glanced at the crew. They were all trained, ready to respond to threats, but he could see the unease in their eyes. Humans were brave, but this was a fear that ran deeper than training. The galaxy had taught them to expect fear. The reports kept coming over the next few hours. Every station along the outer colonies had noticed the strange activity. Alien species were massing near human space, and no one knew why. Carter convened a meeting in the ship's command room with Lisa, Chief Engineer Alan Ford, and Tactical Officer Claire Mason. "We're not the strongest," Carter said quietly. "Everyone knows that, but we have to prepare. We don't know what's coming, but we'll do what humans always do. We survive." Lisa nodded. "We've been detected. The aliens are aware of our colonies, and some are sending scouts closer to the core. They might be trying to intimidate us." Alan, a stocky man with quick hands, leaned back in his chair. "Intimidation is fine until they fire. Then what?" Carter sighed. "Then we fight. Even if it's hopeless, we fight smart. We need to buy time for our people to evacuate if necessary." The bridge grew silent as everyone thought about the possible battle ahead. Outside, the stars stretched in every direction, beautiful and indifferent. Humanity had always stared at the stars with wonder, imagining what was out there. Now they were staring at danger, and they could not run. Over the next few days, reports of alien fleets approaching human space increased. The Krail Empire, one of the largest military powers in the galaxy, had issued a statement demanding Earth surrender or face destruction. The message was broadcast to every major station in the galaxy, with translation devices automatically converting it into human languages. It was a message designed to scare, but for most humans, it only stirred quiet anger. President Jameson held a press briefing from the Capitol on Earth. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm eyes, used to speaking to the world in moments of crisis. "We have been threatened," he said, "and we have been underestimated, but we will not bow. Earth has endured worse. We will meet this challenge together." Across the planet, people listened. Some were afraid, most were angry. Children in schools asked their teachers why aliens would try to destroy their planet. Scientists at research centers worked around the clock to check defenses. Engineers tested new weapons, even small ones, trying to ensure that if the fight came, humanity could respond. On the horizon, Captain Carter's ship was moving toward the outer colonies. He checked every system personally. Shields, weapons, engines, they were all functional, but not enough to match an alien warfleet. Still, he trusted his crew. Every person on board had trained for years, learning strategy, tactics, and survival. Humans were not the strongest, but they were clever. They could think in ways aliens often could not. Lisa stood next to him at the console, watching signals blink across the screens. "Captain, the scouts are moving closer. They're observing every colony. They know we're here and they want to see how we react." Carter rubbed his forehead. "Let them look. We'll give them nothing. If they want to scare us, they'll find it difficult. Humans don't break easily." Even as he spoke, a warning alarm blared. The scouts had crossed the edge of human territory. They were not attacking yet, but their presence was enough to make the Horizon's crew tense. Each crew member moved swiftly to their stations, running calculations, adjusting sensors, and readying weapons. In a small observation deck on the cruiser, Lieutenant Rachel Hart looked through the view window at the alien ships. She had joined the Navy because she wanted adventure, but the reality of real danger was different. The ships were enormous, built with strange materials that glimmered with unknown energy. Even from a distance, Rachel could feel the alien presence pressing against the human senses. "Are we really going to survive this?" she whispered to herself. "You'll survive because humans always do," a voice said behind her. It was Sergeant Luke Danvers, a veteran of several border skirmishes. He had scars on his arms from past battles and a calm way of speaking that reassured those around him. "You watch, kid. Humans always find a way. We might be small, but we are smart, and we fight in ways no one expects." Outside the planet, news of Earth's situation spread. Most alien civilizations did not take humans seriously, and some even made bets about how long Earth would last against the Krail fleet. Traders, explorers, and diplomats all whispered about Earth being a minor species, not worth the attention of real empires. Carter had learned to ignore them. The galaxy did not respect humans yet, but respect could be earned through action, not words. Back on the horizon, a sudden flash appeared on the sensors. Something huge was moving through space, faster than any known engine. Alan, the engineer, froze. "What the hell is that?" he said, eyes wide. Carter looked at the screen, and his jaw dropped. The shape was massive, bigger than anything humans had ever built. It shimmered with energy that seemed to bend space itself. "Is that a ship?" he asked quietly. Lisa leaned forward, trying to analyze it. "It's moving too fast to be a scout." "This isn't just one ship. It's a colossus. We've only seen the plans, never the real thing." Carter's mind raced. The galaxy had never expected humans to build something like this. Every empire believed Earth could barely keep up with small patrol ships. No one had imagined a weapon or a ship of such scale and power. On Earth, news stations picked up unusual signals. Scientists worked frantically to understand what had been detected. Government officials were briefed, and secret meetings were held in the Defense Ministry. Nobody could explain how humans had managed to create something so enormous and powerful, but everyone knew it changed the rules. Meanwhile, the Krail Empire prepared their fleet for attack. Their leaders had not expected humans to show real strength, and they were still confident in victory. Yet even their most experienced admirals began to notice reports from sensors that did not match any known patterns. Some of their ships reported faint energy readings that made engineers nervous. The Krail did not yet realize that Earth had spent decades building a secret power, hidden until the right moment. Captain Carter gave orders to maintain position. He knew the moment for confrontation had not yet arrived. His mission was simple: protect the colonies, buy time, and survive. Humanity could wait. They were patient. Lisa turned to him and said, "Captain, if this is what I think it is, it will change everything." "The galaxy will never laugh at humans again." Carter nodded slowly. "Maybe, but right now we stay ready. That's all we can do. We can't underestimate what's coming, but we also can't panic. Humans survive because we don't panic. We think, we plan, and then we act." For the next hours, the Horizon and other human ships monitored the approaching alien fleets. Scouts sent by the Krail Empire moved cautiously, trying to probe human defenses. Every human on the ship worked efficiently, calmly, even as tension rose. There was fear, yes, but also determination. Fear could be controlled. Humans had done it for centuries, surviving plagues, wars, and disasters. Now the galaxy would see that humanity could survive anything, even the mocking of entire civilizations. As night fell on the outer colonies, Carter walked the length of the bridge, observing his crew. They were young and old, male and female, all with one goal: protect humanity. He felt pride in them, a quiet pride that no one in the galaxy understood. Earth might be small, but humans were clever, resilient, and unyielding. In the distance, the alien scouts approached, their lights blinking like stars against the black of space. Carter knew the next days would test humanity like never before. He did not know if the battle would come tomorrow or in a week, but he knew one thing: humans would not bow and humans would not surrender. The galaxy might laugh now, but one day it would watch humanity rise. And for the first time in centuries, someone on Earth felt a quiet thrill of anticipation. Because when humans fought, they fought in ways no one could imagine, and the galaxy would soon learn that lesson. The warning alarms had barely stopped when the crew of the Horizon saw it. At first, it was just a shadow against the distant stars, stretching wider than any planet in the system. Then the form became clear. A ship so massive that it seemed impossible to exist, moving silently through space, its surface reflecting the faint light of distant suns. Captain John Carter felt a chill run down his spine. He had studied the Colossus class for years, seen diagrams, training videos, and simulations, but nothing compared to seeing it in person. "It's huge," Lieutenant Rachel Hart whispered, her voice trembling slightly as she pressed against the observation window. Alan Ford, the ship's engineer, leaned forward, trying to analyze the readings. I don't know. Our sensors can barely register it. Energy output, mass, shields, everything is off the charts. This is not a ship. It's a fortress, a moving city in space." Lisa Brown was already at the console, watching the displays. "Captain, it's heading straight for the Krail fleet. They're going to encounter it before they even reach us. This could change everything." Carter nodded slowly. "Then we watch. We stay out of the way, let it do what it's built to do." The Colossus moved with a grace that no human or alien ship could match. It seemed to glide, bending light around it, as if space itself obeyed its presence. The Krail fleet reacted instantly. Thousands of ships shifted formation, trying to anticipate the threat, but the Colossus ignored them. It didn't fire immediately, didn't attack. It simply appeared, looming above the alien armada, its sheer size alone enough to freeze any commander in fear. Admiral Corval, commander of the Krail fleet, was furious. "Report! What is that monstrosity? Sensors are failing." "Admiral, it's a human ship," one of his officers stammered. "But it's enormous, larger than anything we've ever seen." Corval slammed his clawed hand against the console. "Impossible! Humans cannot build something like that, prepare weapons, fire everything." Even as the Krail opened fire, the Colossus shields activated. Energy flares erupted as their strongest weapons struck the hull. The aliens expected destruction. Instead, the blasts ricocheted harmlessly, absorbed or deflected by the ship's advanced shields. The Krail ships shuddered under the recoil of their own fire. On the horizon, the crew watched in awe. "They're firing everything, and it's not even scratching the hull," Lisa said. "We've never seen shields like this." Alan shook his head, leaning closer to the display. "This is on another level. They've built something beyond comprehension. How did humans do this?" Carter didn't answer. He was focused on the tactical view, studying how the Colossus moved. Even without commands, the ship seemed to understand the battle. Its weapons began targeting enemy engines, disabling them one by one without destroying entire ships. The Krail were not used to opponents who fought smart. They were used to overwhelming power and total annihilation. Humans, it seemed, had learned to fight differently. Rachel bit her lip. "Captain, it's like they're careful. They're not killing anyone, just stopping them." Carter nodded. "That's humanity. We don't always destroy everything. We survive, we protect, and we win on our own terms." The Krail fleet tried to maneuver, but every action was anticipated. One by one, their ships lost engines, weapons, and communication systems. Panic spread through their ranks. No human ship had done this before, and the scale of the Colossus made it worse. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and the truth hit them harder than any weapon. On Earth, people watched as the news spread across live feeds from the Horizon and other patrol cruisers. Civilians cheered, scientists celebrated quietly, and soldiers felt a new sense of pride. Earth had been a minor species for too long, mocked and underestimated. Now, the galaxy was seeing humanity in a way it had never imagined. President Jameson addressed the public again. "The human navy is no longer a joke. What you are seeing is the result of decades of work, planning, and patience. Our people have endured ridicule and threats, and now the galaxy knows the truth. We will survive, we will protect our home, and we will rise." Back on the horizon, Carter could see the Krail ships beginning to retreat. Admiral Corval realized that brute force could not defeat the Colossus. His officers urged him to call for surrender, but his pride would not allow it. Still, hesitation was deadly. The Colossus did not fire to kill, it disabled with precision. Corval had no choice but to order a withdrawal. Lisa let out a quiet breath. "Captain, it's working, they're falling back." Carter nodded, but he knew the battle was not over. "Not yet. We observe, learn, prepare." Humans survive because we are patient. We strike when necessary. Alan leaned back, still staring at the display. I never thought I'd see this. I always thought humans were weak, and now... Now they know, Carter said quietly. Now they know humans are not weak. We build, we plan, and when the time comes, we act. Rachel looked at him. Do you think they'll attack again? Carter shook his head. They'll think twice. They will know that humans are not the species to underestimate, but they'll return. Others will try. That's how the galaxy works, but we'll be ready. Meanwhile, the colossus hovered above the retreating fleet, a silent sentinel. It did not move to pursue or destroy. Its mission was simple: demonstrate power and protect. Humans had learned that controlling fear could be more powerful than destruction. The galaxy was witnessing a new kind of warfare, one humans had perfected: precision, patience, and intelligence over sheer size. On the horizon, the crew was silent for a moment. They had watched the impossible unfold. Human ships, small and seemingly insignificant, were backed by something greater than any alien could imagine. Carter finally spoke. Prepare for return to base. We have witnessed something no one else will ever see firsthand. But remember, the war is not over. This is only the beginning. Lisa looked at him, her eyes wide. Do you think the galaxy will ever take humans seriously? Carter smiled faintly. They will, not because we ask, not because we show off. They will take us seriously because they will never forget what they just saw. Humanity has a way of leaving a mark, even on the stars themselves. As the Horizon and other patrol ships made their way back to human territory, the alien fleets scrambled to recover. Reports of losses, disabled engines, and communications failures spread across the Krail Empire. Even their most experienced commanders were shaken. They had faced strong opponents before, but humans had done something different. They had fought in a way no one had predicted. They had shown intelligence, courage, and strategy combined with unmatched technology. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but intense. Scientists, engineers, and builders who had worked for decades on secret projects finally felt recognition. Civilians looked at the stars differently now. Humanity had endured ridicule and threats for centuries, and now it was the galaxy that would have to endure humanity. In the council chambers of the Galactic Union, leaders from other species debated what had just happened. Many were in disbelief. Others were angry, their pride wounded by humans' sudden rise. One ambassador, a tall figure with iridescent skin, spoke quietly but with authority. We underestimated a minor species. Let this be a lesson. Strength is not always visible, and intelligence can outmatch brute force. Captain Carter walked along the bridge of the Horizon, observing his crew. They were tired but exhilarated. Every member had played a role, watching, monitoring, and learning from the colossus. Humans were small, yes, but clever. They understood patience, preparation, and timing. They could act when the moment was right, and that made them dangerous in a way the galaxy had never expected. Rachel approached him, her expression a mix of awe and pride. Captain, do you think the galaxy will ever underestimate us again? Carter shook his head slowly. No, not now, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that humans are ready. We will build, we will prepare, and when the time comes, we will protect our own. Let the galaxy laugh if it wants. We'll prove them wrong every time. Outside the horizon, the stars stretched endlessly, calm and silent, but humans had made their presence known. For centuries, Earth had been small, weak, and ignored. Now humans had shown that size was not everything, that intelligence and courage could change the course of history. The Colossus class, a creation of patience and human ingenuity, had shown the galaxy that Earth was not to be mocked. And somewhere in the distance, hidden beyond sensors and light years, other alien species began to take notice. Humans had arrived. The joke was over. Captain Carter returned to his command seat, staring at the stars. He felt a mix of relief and anticipation. The first step had been taken. Humanity had shown its strength, but the journey was far from over. Every lesson had been learned, every strategy observed. The galaxy would not forget this day, and neither would humans. They had survived, they had proven themselves, and now the future waited, full of possibilities. As the Horizon sailed through the quiet reaches of space, its crew reflected on what they had seen. Fear had been replaced by confidence. Doubt had been replaced by pride. Humanity had endured centuries of mockery, and now the galaxy had seen what patience, courage, and intelligence could achieve. The stars themselves seemed to shine differently. as if acknowledging that humans had taken their first true step into the larger world of the galaxy. The galaxy was still in shock. Reports of the Colossus class disabling the Krail fleet had reached every corner of space. Traders, explorers, and diplomats whispered about humans in awe and fear. No one had expected such a thing from a species long considered weak. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but filled with pride. Humanity had proven itself, but the leaders knew that the moment of showing strength was only the first step. Now it was time to change the rules of engagement. Captain John Carter stood on the bridge of the horizon, watching the reports come in from every nearby patrol ship. The Krail had retreated, but not far. Their fleet still hovered near the edge of human space, unsure how to react. Carter studied the tactical displays carefully. Every movement of the alien ships was tracked. Every energy fluctuation, every communication, every engine change was logged. Humans might not have the largest fleet, but they could observe, analyze, and react faster than any alien empire. Lisa Brown stood beside him, her tablet full of readings from the Colossus class. "Captain, the fleet is trying to regroup. They're repairing engines, recalibrating weapons. They don't understand our strategy. Every move we make surprises them." Carter nodded. "That's exactly what I want. Humans have always survived by thinking ahead. Brute force only wins battles. Strategy wins wars. We don't need to destroy them. We just need to control the fight." Alan Ford, the engineer, leaned over a console. "Captain, the Colossus is fully operational. Its systems are beyond anything we imagined. The weapons are precise, energy output is stable, shields are regenerating faster than we predicted. We could engage them directly, but I think the bigger advantage is psychological. Humans don't fight like they expect." Rachel Hart, still awed from the last encounter, spoke quietly. "They'll never forget that. The Krail or anyone who sees it will think twice before attacking humans again." Carter turned to her, his expression serious. "That's the point. We don't need to destroy everything to gain respect. Humans survive because we understand power and patience. Let them fear us enough to respect our limits. Let them realize that attacking Earth is not worth the risk." Across human space, colonies were taking the first steps to strengthen defenses. New satellites were launched, communication networks were upgraded, and small fleets of human ships began to patrol sensitive regions. Humanity had been underestimated for so long that most alien species had no idea what to expect. Now, humans were preparing quietly but efficiently, ensuring that the next threat would face a species ready to respond with precision. Meanwhile, reports from the Krail Empire painted a picture of panic. Admiral Corval struggled to maintain control. His officers debated endlessly, some arguing for retreat, others insisting on another attack. The Colossus had forced them to reconsider everything. It was not just a weapon, it was a message. Humans had shown the galaxy that they were no longer small, weak, or irrelevant. They had learned how to survive and how to fight smart. On the horizon, Carter convened another meeting with his senior officers. "We need to think about the bigger picture," he said. "The Krail fleet is retreating now, but others will come. They've all been watching. Every empire, every patrol ship, every intelligence network knows that humans are no longer a species to ignore. Our job is to make sure that when they come, we are ready," Lisa spoke up. "We should focus on strategy over engagement. The Colossus class is powerful, but it's one ship. We can't risk losing it to a single battle. We need to show presence, disrupt enemy plans, and protect our colonies." Carter nodded. "Exactly. Strength alone is not enough. Humans survive because we adapt, observe, and outthink our opponents. That's what will make us unstoppable in the long term." Rachel asked, "Do we let them come closer, or do we strike first?" Carter shook his head. "We don't strike first unless we must. Humans don't fight to destroy. We fight to survive and protect what is ours. Let them come, let them make mistakes, and then we respond in ways they cannot predict. That is how humans always win." Over the next few days, the Krail fleet moved cautiously. Reports indicated that smaller human patrol ships were appearing in unexpected positions, scouting, observing, and sometimes appearing in multiple places at once. The Krail were confused. Their maps no longer made sense. Their communication networks were overloaded with false signals. Humans were using strategy instead of brute force. Alan smiled as he monitored the systems. "The Colossus isn't even firing and they're already terrified. Imagine what happens if it does." Carter looked at him with a faint smile. Patience, Alan, will strike when it counts. Right now, the galaxy is learning to respect humans without a single life lost on our side. That is power in its purest form. In distant corners of the galaxy, other species began to change how they thought about humans. Traders, explorers, and diplomats who had laughed at Earth for centuries now whispered in fear. Humans had arrived, but they had arrived quietly without the chaos that other species often brought. They were patient, careful, and intelligent. They didn't fight for glory, they fought to survive and protect. That distinction made them more dangerous than anyone realized. On the horizon, Rachel observed a strange anomaly on the sensors. Captain, I'm picking up signals from an unknown source. It's similar to the Colossus, but smaller. Possibly another human ship. Carter's eyes narrowed. Could be, or it could be a trap. Keep monitoring, but don't engage. We learn first. Humans survive by understanding, not rushing blindly. The unknown ship appeared slowly from folded space, its design familiar but new. Humans had kept many projects secret, building more than one Colossus-class ship. The galaxy had only seen the first. The second ship's appearance reinforced the message. Humanity was not alone, it was prepared, and it had the resources to defend itself in ways that no alien empire had anticipated. Lisa's fingers flew across her console. Captain, they're moving toward the Krail fleet. Their targeting systems are even more advanced than the first. This could change everything permanently. Carter leaned back, studying the display. Let them observe. Let the Krail and every other empire see that humans do not bluff. We are strong, prepared, and patient. That is what makes us dangerous. Not size alone, not numbers alone, but the way we think, plan, and act. That is the lesson the galaxy must learn. As the second Colossus moved into position, the Krail began to realize that this was more than a single threat. Humans had built a fleet capable of operating with intelligence, precision, and strategy. Every move was calculated, every engagement controlled. They were no longer a species to attack lightly. On Earth, people watched in awe. Scientists, engineers, and civilians realized that humanity's long years of work, planning, and secrecy had finally paid off. Humans had endured mockery, threats, and ridicule for centuries. Now the galaxy was watching in silence, unsure how to respond. President Jameson addressed the public again. What you are seeing is more than a military victory. It is proof that patience, intelligence, and preparation can surpass raw strength. Humans have survived countless threats. We have endured centuries of ridicule. And now the galaxy knows what we already knew. Humanity is a species to be respected, not ignored. Back on the horizon, Carter and his crew prepared for further engagement. The Krail had retreated for now, but the galaxy was learning fast. Humans were patient observers, strategic thinkers, and capable defenders. That combination made them more dangerous than any alien empire had predicted. Rachel glanced at the tactical display. Captain, they're regrouping, but they're hesitant. They've never seen humans like this before. They don't know how to react. Carter nodded. That hesitation is ours. Every empire has weaknesses, and they all have pride. Humans survive because we wait, we observe, and we act at the right time. Let them doubt themselves. Let them fear what they cannot understand. That is how humans control the battlefield without even firing a shot. The days passed, and human patrols moved with precision across the outer colonies. The Colossus-class ships remained a silent threat, visible but not aggressive. Alien spies and scouts transmitted warnings to their leaders, describing humans as unpredictable, intelligent, and patient. Every empire began reassessing its calculations about Earth. No longer could humans be treated as minor players. On the horizon, Carter watched the stars, thinking about the future. Humans have survived because we think ahead, because we adapt, because we do not panic. The galaxy will learn that lesson slowly, but it will learn it. And by the time it does, humans will be ready for anything. Alan, watching the energy readings, smiled. Captain, I never thought I'd see the day when humans were feared and respected, and yet here we are. Carter turned to him. Fear is not what we want, respect is. And respect comes from showing the galaxy that humans survive, humans protect, and humans act wisely. That is why we endure, and that is why we will continue to rise. Outside the horizon, the stars stretched endlessly. Humans had taken the first real step in changing how the galaxy viewed them. They had survived ridicule, threats, and the mockery of entire empires. Now they were learning that strategy, intelligence, and patience could be more powerful than sheer force. The Krail and every other empire had been given a lesson in humility and caution. And in that quiet moment, Captain John Carter knew that this was only the beginning. Humans would continue to grow, prepare, and protect. The galaxy might test them again, but humanity had already proven one truth. No matter how small or underestimated, humans could endure, adapt, and rise above any challenge. The Horizon continued its patrol, a small ship backed by immense intelligence, determination, and unseen power. Humanity had shown that it could fight differently, survive cleverly, and command respect without firing a single weapon unnecessarily. The galaxy would remember this day, and humanity would never again be underestimated. The galaxy was tense. Every empire had received the reports from the outer colonies, and every civilization whispered about Earth. The Krail Empire, once confident and mocking, was now hesitant. Traders and diplomats in distant systems debated whether humans were dangerous allies or impossible enemies. Captain John Carter and the crew of the Horizon knew that the moment had come to show the galaxy that humans were no longer a species to underestimate. On the horizon, Carter stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the distant fleet that had once threatened human colonies. The ships were moving slowly, unsure of how to react to humans who had mastered patience and strategy. Lisa Brown worked beside him, her fingers flying over the controls, monitoring energy signatures and enemy positions. "Captain, they're hesitating. They're trying to figure out if we're bluffing or if the reports are accurate," she said. Carter nodded. "We are not bluffing. Humans do not bluff. They underestimate us at their own risk. Today, they will learn that humans fight differently, that humans survive differently, and that humans protect what is theirs without fear." The Colossus-class ship, larger than anything else in the system, emerged from folded space. Its hull gleamed under the light of a nearby star, and its presence alone made the alien fleet shiver. It did not fire its weapons immediately. It hovered, immense and silent, like a sentinel watching the galaxy. Crew members on the horizon could feel its energy reverberate through space. Alan Ford whispered, "It's like a moving city, and it knows exactly what to do." Rachel Hart watched from the observation deck, awe and fear mixed in her eyes. "Captain, it's beautiful and terrifying." Carter smiled faintly. "That is human ingenuity, Rachel. That is what we build when we plan for survival, when we think ahead. The galaxy has mocked us for centuries. Now it will see the truth." The Krail fleet tried to regroup. They fired long-range weapons at the Colossus, expecting to overwhelm it with numbers and firepower. But the shields of the Colossus absorbed everything, dispersing the energy in a way that left the alien ships unharmed but their attacks wasted. Carter watched every movement carefully. Every alien response was calculated, and humanity was ready to counter it. Lisa's voice was calm but excited. "Captain, they're trying to retreat, but our ships are positioned to intercept. They don't know how to respond." Carter nodded. "That is our advantage. Humans survive because we see the battlefield differently. We use the enemy's expectations against them. Let them think they control the fight. We control it, and they do not know it." As the alien fleet hesitated, another human colossus emerged from folded space, appearing behind the Krail. The second ship moved with the same silent precision as the first, cutting off any escape routes. The Krail officers were in chaos. They had expected humans to be weak, but instead they were surrounded by forces they could not comprehend. Alan leaned closer to the console. "Captain, 2 Colossus ships. They're showing us that humanity has more than one. The galaxy has never seen anything like this." Carter's eyes were steady. "Exactly, that is the point. We are not reckless, we are prepared. Humanity survives because we plan, we build, and we act when necessary. That is what no one else can match." The alien fleet tried to maneuver again, but every action was anticipated. The Horizon and other human patrol ships moved with precision, positioning themselves in ways the Krail could not predict. Humans had learned that survival was not about fighting everything at once. It was about patience, intelligence, and strategy. Rachel spoke quietly. "Captain, they're panicking. They don't know what to do." Carter's gaze did not leave the tactical display. "Good, let them panic. Fear is a powerful teacher. Humans survive because we stay calm, we calculate, and we act with purpose. Today, they are learning that lesson firsthand." The first colossus began to target the alien fleet's engines and weapons systems. Each strike was precise. Ships were disabled without being destroyed, their crews unharmed but their ability to fight gone. The Krail realized they could not win through force alone. The human approach was unfamiliar, impossible to counter with their usual tactics. Lisa monitored the energy feedback. "Captain, their shields are failing. They're being disabled without a single ship destroyed." "Humans are changing the rules of battle," Carter nodded. "Exactly. Humans fight to survive, to protect, not to destroy. That is why we endure. That is why the galaxy underestimates us at its own risk." On Earth, civilians watched live broadcasts from the horizon and other human ships. People cheered quietly, knowing that humans had finally shown the galaxy their strength. Scientists and engineers who had worked in secret for decades allowed themselves smiles for the first time. The galaxy's laughter at human weakness had ended. Humans had changed the game without unnecessary destruction. Admiral Corval of the Krail fleet realized the truth. His pride had blinded him for centuries. Humans were not weak. They were intelligent, patient, and ruthless in ways that did not require cruelty. The Colossus class was not just a weapon. It was a message, a lesson in strategy, planning, and the power of intelligence. Back on the horizon, Carter convened his officers once more. "We are not here to destroy unnecessarily. We are here to show the galaxy that humans survive, humans protect, and humans act with intelligence. That is the greatest weapon of all. The Colossus class does not just defend, it teaches. It forces others to rethink everything they know about battle and survival." Rachel looked at him, still in awe. "Do you think they'll ever attack again?" Carter shook his head. "Perhaps, but they will hesitate. Humans have shown that we survive against impossible odds. That is enough. That is why the galaxy will respect us from now on. Fear can be useful, but respect is better. And today, humans earn both." Alan leaned back, a small smile on his face. "I never imagined I'd see the day when humans would control an entire alien fleet without firing a single lethal shot." Carter nodded. "It is not about destruction, Alan. It is about intelligence, preparation, and courage. Humans survive because we think differently. That is the lesson the galaxy is learning today." The Krail began to retreat fully, their fleet scattered and crippled. Communication lines were down, engines damaged, and morale broken. The aliens had expected humans to be easy targets. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a carefully planned web, disabled and humiliated without unnecessary bloodshed. Lisa watched the displays silently. "Captain, they're surrendering in parts. They don't even realize we didn't attack fully. Humanity has shown them the power of strategy and restraint." Carter's face was calm. "That is enough. Humans survive not by reckless violence, but by control, intelligence, and patience. Today, the galaxy has learned that humans are not weak, that we protect what is ours, and that we act in ways no one expects. That is true power." On Earth, celebrations continued quietly. The galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary, something that would change the perception of humans forever. Civilians, scientists, engineers, and military personnel understood what the Krail fleet had not. Humans survived not because of sheer force, but because of patience, intelligence, and clever strategy. Across distant star systems, diplomats and leaders began to reconsider their approach to humanity. No longer could humans be ignored or underestimated. They were no longer a species to mock. They had become a force, not just through size or firepower, but through thought, courage, and preparation. On the horizon, Carter walked along the bridge, observing his crew. Each person had played a role in this moment. Humans had survived ridicule, threats, and impossible odds. They had shown intelligence, courage, and patience. That combination had forced the galaxy to see them differently. Humans had earned respect. Rachel whispered, "Captain, do you think the galaxy will ever underestimate us again?" Carter shook his head. "Not now, and that doesn't matter. What matters is that humans have survived, humans have protected what is theirs, and humans have acted with intelligence. That is enough. The galaxy will remember this day for centuries, and it will change how everyone treats Earth from now on." Outside, the Colossus hovered silently, immense and powerful, a reminder of human ingenuity and determination. It did not fire unnecessarily. It did not destroy without cause. Its presence alone had rewritten the rules of engagement. Humanity had survived ridicule, attacks, and mockery. Now, the galaxy had no choice but to recognize their strength. Carter returned to his command seat, watching the stars stretch endlessly. Humans had shown that even a small, underestimated species could rise above the expectations of the galaxy. They had proven that intelligence, courage, patience, and preparation could triumph over ridicule, fear, and superior numbers. And in that quiet, tense moment, the horizon sailed onward. Humanity had shown the galaxy what it meant to survive, to protect, and to fight smart. The Colossus class had arrived, and the galaxy would never laugh at Earth again. For the first time in centuries, humans were no longer a joke. They were respected, feared in the right measure, and remembered. The stars themselves seemed to acknowledge the arrival of a species that would endure, survive, and rise above every challenge that came their way. Humanity had arrived. The galaxy would never forget it.